everyone, my name is Miss Ashley and I am going to be your Fibo Kids Art Academy teacher today. And we are continuing our ABC Art History book with the letter O. Our artist for today is Claes Oldenburg, who is famous for making soft sculptures. Now, sculpture is a 3D art piece that's something you can walk around. Now, Claes Oldenburg usually did really big sculptures of food that were outside on lawns or buildings. He did a sculpture of a spoon with a cherry, and he also did a sculpture of these hamburgers. So for our project today, we are going to be drawing a hamburger. So let's go ahead and get started. So we need a scratch piece of paper and a pencil. I am going to be using a Sharpie so you can see my pencil lines, but please draw in a pencil. Now for our practice draw, the first thing we need to do is we're going to be drawing a square. And for our square, we need to draw a smaller square on the top left corner. And we're going to write Oldenburg's name. So in our small square, we need to draw an O. Outside our square, we need to draw an L, D, E, N, B, U, R, G. And if you need to pause this video for any reason, you can go ahead and do so. We're going to start drawing the hamburger. For the bun, we need to draw a curved line. And then we need to draw a rainbow above that curve, from one side to the other side. Now, our hamburger is going to have lettuce, so on each side of that top bun, you're going to draw a slanted line. And then we're going to draw zigzag lines, making sure to go to the right side and make sure it connects. Another item that hamburgers have are cheese to make it cheeseburgers. So we're going to draw like triangles, one on each side, so we'll have 2 slices of cheese. Some cheeseburgers also have tomatoes, so we're going to draw 2 slices of tomatoes underneath that cheese. So we're going to draw a curved line like a U and another curve like a U. Now we need to draw our patty. This can be a beef patty or a veggie patty. We just need to start underneath that cheese and draw a curved U to the other side of the cheese. And we can even extend those curves back to the lettuce. Now to draw that bottom bun, we're going to go first on the left side of that patty we just drew. Draw a curved C-like shape and a backward C-like shape. Now to draw that bottom bun, we're going to connect those curves on each side. That is our practice draw for our cheeseburger. Let's go ahead and grab our final piece of paper. This is already going to be cut into a square. And we're going to go ahead and get started by drawing that square on the top left corner. Now again, if you need to pause that video for any reason, you can go ahead and do so. Please use pencil for this. I'm using Sharpie so you can see my lines. I'm going to draw a letter O. inside that square. And outside my square, I'm going to write his name. L D E N B U R G. Now that we have Oldenburg's name on the top, we can go ahead and continue with our cheeseburger. We're going to draw a curved line for the bottom of the top bun. And on that curved line, we're going to draw a rainbow curve from one side to the other side. So this is the top bun. We need to draw that lettuce. So on each side of that bun, I want you to draw a slanted line. And we are going to draw zigzag lines connecting to the right side. Our hamburger is going to become a cheeseburger by drawing 2 slices of cheese, one on each side. It's almost like V's underneath that lettuce. Now our cheeseburger has tomatoes, so we're going to draw a curved U shape and another curved U shape underneath our cheese. For that patty, you're going to go underneath the cheese and you're going to draw a curved line connecting from one side of the cheese to the other. And you can extend that patty between the cheese and the lettuce by drawing that curved line. Now for the bottom of our bun, we're going to draw a curved C and a backward C and connect that with a curved line. We need to draw the seeds on top of our bun. I'm going to draw those seeds. They're like small raindrop shapes. I'm going to draw 3 on the top. And then 4 on the bottom. I'm making sure that these seeds are spread out on my bun. Now, because Oldenburg drew sculptures that were outside on lawns or buildings, we're going to make sure that our cheeseburger is outside. We're going to go to the left side of the top bun and draw a straight line off the page. And same thing on the right side, straight line off the page. Now you can draw either houses or buildings on the top of your line. I'm going to be drawing buildings by drawing box-like shapes. And I'll add some windows to those buildings. And I'm going to draw a sun. That is it for the final draw. Now what you're going to do, your picture is going to look something like this with your pencil lines. This time you're going to be taking a Sharpie and you are going to outline all of your pencil lines. So let's go ahead and take a moment to trace over those pencil lines. And if you need to stop the video for any reason, you may go ahead and do so. But we're just making sure we're tracing over all our pencil lines. And don't forget the windows to your buildings, if you did draw buildings. And don't forget your raindrop seeds. And the cheese. The tomatoes. And my ground line. When you are done outlining your pencil lines, you can go ahead and grab that eraser and erase any pencil lines you see on your paper. All right, we need to begin coloring our cheeseburger. The first thing we're going to do is we are going to grab a green and color the lettuce. I'm going to be using markers, but you can use crayons, you can use colored pencils. I'm going to be using markers. And the first thing I'm going to do is color my lettuce using light green. Remember, your lettuce is where the jagged lines are. And the first thing you want to do is you're going to outline your lettuce, which again is underneath the top bun. And you're going to fill it in. Once you're done with that, you can put away that green, and we're going to take out an orange for our cheese. Again, you can be using colored pencils or markers or crayons. I'm using markers, and when I use markers, I like to make sure that cap is on the back. I'm outlining my cheese first before I fill it in. The next part I'm going to be coloring is my tomatoes underneath my cheese. I'm taking that red, putting the cap on the back. Outline your tomatoes first before you fill them in. That way you know what are your tomatoes. Make sure to not color the patty instead, and you're going to fill in your tomatoes using that red. For your patty, you're going to take out your brown. You're going to outline first. And fill it in. Make sure to get all those white spots on your picture. When you are done coloring your patty, you are also going to color those small seeds on the top of your hamburger bun. Now, if you need to pause the video to see what to color, you can go ahead and do that. I'm actually going to be taking out my green to color the grass. Now we're going to be doing the grass a specific way. That way we can see that it goes in the distance. The first thing we're going to do on top of the background where the line meets the buildings, underneath that line we're going to draw short, small lines to show that the grass is farther away. Now we need to get close underneath our cheeseburger and we need to draw tall up and down lines. Now for the space in between the small lines and the tall lines, we need to add medium-sized lines. And you can spread those lines around. We need to color our sun in the background. We're going to be using a yellow or an orange. I'm going to be using yellow since my cheese is already orange. I'm going to outline first and fill it in. Now you can pause the video if you need to catch up on your grass or fill in your sun. I'm now going to be coloring in my buildings. I'm going to be using a gray, but you could use light blue, you could use purple. You can use any color you want for your buildings. I'm going to be using gray, and I'm going to outline first. Outline first. And then fill it in. Again, I'm using a gray for my building, but you can use any color you want. I'm also going to color in those windows with a yellow. All right, I'm going to put my markers aside for now. I'm now going to be taking out my chalk pastels. Now the first thing I want to do is I want to color the top bun and the bottom bun. I'm going to be using a tan color for my bun. Now, you can use your chalk pastels a certain way. I'm just going to show you on the practice draw right here. Depending on how you hold your chalk pastel, you can create a thin line. If you turn it so slightly, you can get a medium-sized line. Or if you hold it on its side and pinch and pull, you can get a thick line. We want to be using this line right first and then the bigger line next. So let me show you on this top bun. I'm going to hold my chalk pastel up. I'm going to outline my bun, outline the bottom, and then use very few pinch and pull strokes. I'm only going to use two actually. 1, 2, and a small one at the bottom. Then with your one finger, you're going to go around your bun, just tracing over that line. Same thing on the bottom. And then you're going to blend. You want to make sure that you're spreading that color around only in the hamburger bun. If you do have any dust on your paper, you can go ahead and just tap it on the table and clean that off. Make sure that your finger is super clean because we are going to continue using chalk pastel. So I'm going to clean my finger and my table. we're going to be moving on to our sky. I'm going to be using light blue for the sky. You could use a dark blue if you wanted to. And I'm just going to outline making sure to go around my buildings, around my sun, and around my box. And then I'm going to very gently pinch and pull. I don't need a lot of chalk dust. I'm going to put that away and then take my one finger and trace around my buildings, on top of my cheeseburger, around my sun. And then I'm going to gently blend using circular motions on the sky. Now you want to make sure that your chalk pastel is blended well on your paper. You don't want to have any dust. Again, you can tap off that dust. Make sure it's really blended into your background. Clean your finger and clean off the dust. Now for the grass, I'm going to be using green. And I'm going to outline my grass and go around my cheeseburger. And I'm going to pinch and pull just a little bit. I'm going to put that color away and gently blend my grass on the ground. It's very important that you make sure that there is no remaining chalk dust on your paper, because for our final step, if there is any chalk dust left over, it may ruin your marker. So I'm just making sure there's no dust left over. I'm going to tap my paper just to make sure there is no chalk dust. Clean my fingers and wipe my table. Now the last thing we need to do with our picture is we need to go back to our markers. So I'm going to put my chalk pastels away. At this time, if you're still using the chalk pastels and blending the buns or the sky or the grass, you can go ahead and pause this video. Go back to my markers, and I'm going to choose a darker color. I really like this light blue so it can match the sky. The first thing we need to do is we need to outline our box and go over Oldenburg's name. So I'm going to just take my marker and outline the box around the O as well, L, D, E, N, B, U, R, and G. I'm gonna go around my sun. And again, the reason why it's important to make sure there is no chalk pastel left on your paper is because if there is any left over, it will ruin your marker. I'm just going around my buildings, making sure that they're outlined in my light blue, as well as the ground. I'm also going to go around my cheeseburger. And don't forget those seeds as well. Go around with my lettuce. And my cheese. And my tomatoes. My hamburger patty. and the bottom. Now I want to add just a little bit more grass to my picture, so I'm going to go over and add just a little bit more, making sure that it's going close and touching the bottom of my cheeseburger. And that is it for our picture inspired by Oldenburg. Remember, Oldenburg is a famous artist for making soft sculptures of food. And a sculpture is a three-dimensional piece of art that you can walk around. And he is famous for making sculptures of food. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you had a good time, and we will see you next time. Bye.